in the midst of the hard things of life. I'm going to give you cliff notes again this week in hopes that you don't check out because you got all the answers right up front. But here's all the answers right up front. You want to know how to live by faith in the midst of the heart of your life? Remind yourself of God's past work. Choose to wait for God's future work. And then experience the strength of God for today. That's it. And this morning, we're going to walk through all three of those. So the first of those is this. Remind yourself of God's past work. Habakkuk 3, 1 and 2. You've already heard it read. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet. And I'm not even going to try to say that word. On Shigionoth. I tried, sorry. Lord, I have heard of your fame. I stand in awe of your deeds, Lord. Repeat them in our day. In our time, make them known. And in your wrath, remember mercy. He knows wrath is coming. He knows the wrath of God is coming his way because the people of God have been living rebellious. And in comes Babylon to completely wreck shop in the people of Israel. They're going to completely decimate Israel. And God's punishment. Verse 4 says this. His splendor was like the sunrise. Rays flashed from his hand where his power was hidden. Plague went before him. Pestilence followed his footsteps. Habakkuk, in the first part of this, says, God, I know you can be merciful. Be merciful in the midst of your wrath. God, please, I know you are a merciful God. In fact, I know it because I'm remembering Moses. I'm remembering Moses in 3, 4, and 5 here. He's saying, I'm remembering the time that you came and you gave Moses the law. And then I'm remembering the time where you sent plagues and pestilence in order to stand before your people and the evil people of Egypt. God, I know you can be merciful. Then he goes on in verse 14 and 15. He says, with his own spear you pierced his head, and with his warriors stormed out to scatter us, gloating as though about to devour the wretched who were in hiding. You trampled the sea with your horses, churning the great waters. He's remembering the past. He's remembering how God worked in the past to bring salvation to Israel from the Egyptians who were eventually swallowed up by the sea as they walked on dry ground. All 15 verses of Habakkuk, the first 15 verses, they're looking back to the past. They're looking to past instances where God delivered his people, where God was faithful, where God was good. He was faithful and good from generation to generation to generation. Church, I just want to stop and ask you, have you seen the faithfulness and the goodness of God in your life? Have you heard it from generation to generation? What I hear in Habakkuk is if you're in the midst of the hard, how do we live by faith? We remind ourselves of the goodness and the faithfulness of God. What does it mean to remind ourselves? Well, it means literally that, to remind ourselves, to change our thinking to a remembrance of the truth about who God